Sure. We have discussed about just one data type called char, which is a fixed length character string. Moving on to the next data type, which is varchar. Varchar is nothing but varying length character string. Now again, we have defined the same attribute with data type varchar10. And taking the same example now, Upwan, Asif, Shaki, or Saki. How do I pronounce your name correctly? Is it Saki or Shaki?
Saki is good.
Saki. All right. And Mehtab. When we have defined anything as varchar, we also have reserved 10 seats or 10 spaces. But if we don't need to occupy all 10 spaces, there is an option. We can choose to ignore them and just occupy the 5 spaces that we needed. So contrary to its previous counterpart, it is a varying length string. Even if it is defined with data type 10, data type with length 10, we'll be able to store the varying lengths inside that. And the spaces and the number of spaces that it will occupy on databases, it will depend on the values that we are entering inside it. So how much spaces will Asif take?
4.
Correct. How much will Shaki take?
5.
And Mehtab will take 6. Will there be any empty spaces? No.
6.
No, there will not be any empty spaces in this case. Okay? And that is the difference between char and varchar. And it's a very important interview question, guys. Okay? Whenever we restore something inside the data type char, it would be padded. It would be padded with empty spaces. But in case of varchar, it will not happen. It will not be padded with extra empty spaces. The upper bound, the maximum limit up to which this varchar data type is defined is 4000. We can store up to 4000 characters in this data type. Okay? Then a question that you might ask is, if varchar is more efficient than char, why won't we use varchar at every place, right? Because char gives us better performance. It reserves the fixed space in every case. It gives us better performance. Whenever we, in Oracle, indexes are created as a binary tree index, and creation of that index is much more efficient if a data type is char instead of varchar. Coming to the next part, let's talk about numbers now. Numbers. So the very basic data type that we need to remember for storing numbers is number itself. There are two attributes that we need to pass to a numeric data type called precision and scale. Okay? A number data type is used.
It's 2 types, right? Is there a scale?
No, these are not the types. These are the two attributes that we are going to be providing to a number data type. For example, in case of varchar and char, this particular attribute will be used to identify the length of that data type. We are reserving 10 characters over here.
Yeah.
So similarly, whenever we define number, we'll define it with this two parameters, precision and scale. Although, if we want, we can also define number as just with just the precision. Okay. Now, next question that comes to our mind is, why do we use a number? So a number data type is used to store numbers which are fixed or floating point. Let me write it for you. What do we mean by floating point? 2.5, 3.14, 5129 something, 1.33333, 1729.1125, and so on. 6.23000. These are floating points. They have decimals, okay? And values after decimals, right? Now, when we define a number, there are two parts to it, as I mentioned, precision and scale, right?
Right.
The precision determines the maximum length of data. Let me write it down for you. Precision determines the maximum length of data, and scale, on the other hand, determines the number of places to the right of decimal. Okay. Now tell me one thing. If I define something as number 10,2, will I be able to store 9.145 in that particular field?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, if I have defined the data type of some variable as number 10,2, will I be able to store 9.145 in that field? The answer is no.
Sure. No. Oh, no. Okay.
Why? Because we can just have 2 decimal points.
Yeah, 2. Right. Okay. I cannot have 5.
So if we'll try that, it would be stored as 9.14. How about something called number 2,2? Can we store 0.25 inside that?
No.
Only 0.2.
Yes, we can, because the allowed number of digits after decimal is 2, and total number of digits is also 2. So we will be able to store this number. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll face a lot of these scenarios. So when we'll practice, we'll get to see the different combinations of these. Now there are some cases when we need to store very lengthy data. For example, this one. This is very lengthy, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
And what if we need to store the complete novel inside a particular database? Sorry, inside a particular attribute in database. For example, the data type is story and we want to store the alchemist, the complete novel inside that particular data type. Will we be able to do that? Is there any data type which supports it? There are some data types called blob. Okay. And glob. Both of these data types are able to store up to 4 gigabytes of space in them. Okay. So when we need to store something which is very lengthy, we'll use these data types, blob and glob. There are many more data types in Oracle, but we will not be able to discuss all of them in our sessions. So I will be sending you some notes. You guys can go through them and revert back if you have any questions. Okay. Now let me show you the database, how database looks. Although you guys have seen it in the first lecture with Bilal, right?
Yeah.
By the way, all of you are having your personal computers with you yourselves, right?
Yes.
Great. And they are having at least 8 gigabytes of memory or at least 4 gigabytes of memory.
Yeah.
I'm talking about RAM. Would you go and check the memory which is available in your system? Let me ask you this question differently. Do you know how to go and check the memory of your system?
From my computer, you can see, I guess, right?
Yeah, right click on it. First of all, open your folder, right click on it and click on properties.
Okay, RAM. My one is 6 gigabyte.
Great. Who was that? Asif?
Asif, yes.
Yeah. How about you? So you can see that the RAM in my system is just 4 gigabytes. Which means that 4 gigabytes of RAM is good enough if you don't have any unnecessary softwares installed in your PC. So all of you are having PCs which are having greater than or equal to 4 gigabytes of internal memory, right? Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, I have a table called EMP1. Now look at the properties of this table and observe the data types. EMP number is a number having maximum length 4. EMP name is Varchar, having the upper bound as 10 bytes. Job having 9 bytes. Manager number 4. Hire date with date. Salary as number 7, 2. What does this 2 signify? It signifies the
Scale.
scale.
After decimal to digit.
Yeah. It signifies that I can have up to 2 digits after the decimal. Okay?
Okay.
Do I have your permission to extend this session by 15 minutes? Guys,
Yes.
can I extend this session by 15 minutes
Yeah, now 25,
for today?
40.
Do you guys have extra 15 minutes? Can we continue this session for extra 15 minutes?
10 minutes will be fine for me.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Please let me know when you have to leave. I will stop 2 minutes before that. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
So then we will not be able to practice a lot of the concepts that we have learned. But in tomorrow's session, first of all, I'm mentioning the topics that we have covered till now. We have covered chord rules. We have covered data types in Oracle. Difference between char and varchar. And I've given you an introduction to number as well. Now, in our next session, we are going to look at the syntax of basic select. Okay? And let me give you a let me give you a bit of idea that what I'm talking about. So now we have seen that in database we might have tables. Inside tables we might have attributes or columns. And whenever we want to represent the records of a table, they are also called as rows in the table. So there are 3 parts to a select statement: select, from, and where. The argument of select is
Column.
the columns or attributes. The attribute of from is table or
Table.
multiple tables. The attribute of where will be limiting conditions. Consider a table called employee, which is having EMP number, e-name, job, manager, hire date, salary, commission, and department number. What if I want to select EMP number and employee name from this table? Then I will write the statement as select EMP number, comma ename. And from I will write the table name. What is the name of the table from which I want to select? Asif?
EMP number.
EMP1.
EMP. Oh,
And the
where
where
is the
condition
table name? I don't see it.
here.
Oh, okay. EMP1. Where
Do I need to apply any conditions? If I do not need to apply any condition, I will apply the condition which will always hold true. So 1 equal to 1 will always hold true, right?
okay.
1 is always equal to 1. It will always hold true. Let me query. And there I go. I've selected all the EMP numbers and employee names from this table. Okay. Now, do I really need this? So the point that I'm making is, where is optional? Optional. In case we do not want to put any limitation. If we don't want to put any limitation, why will we use where? It is simply optional. We can simply write our query like this, and we will be able to achieve the same result. 18 records. And in previous case, we also had 18 records. Okay. What if we want to select everything? Meaning all columns. In that case, we have a keyword called asterisk or star. So instead of writing all the column names one by one, we'll just put this star over here and mention the table name from which we want to select. The result of star will be all the attributes from a given relation. What is the name of relation here? Relation means table. What is the name of table here?
Employee table 1.
EMP1.
E1.
What is the name of second attribute in EMP1?
Second attribute,
Name.
Correct, ename. What is the name of first attribute from this table?
Employee number.
EMP number.
How many attributes do I have in this table, Shaki?
2. Sorry.
8.
Correct. Shaki, how many attributes do I have in this table?
8.
Correct. How do I know that there are 8 attributes? By selecting everything from this table, or by selecting a star from this table, the number of columns that I'm seeing in my results is 8. So that's how I came to the conclusion that I have 8 attributes in this table. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So from tomorrow, we'll see a bit more complex examples of this select statement. Since Mehtab has to leave now, we'll stop our session here. So we'll meet at the same time tomorrow as well at 11:30. Okay.
Tomorrow is Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday we have class.
We have class every day unless any of us has any emergency.
Oh.
And it's just been 2 classes. Are you bored already?
No, not really bored. Actually, suddenly I joined in your class. That's why I have work.
Okay, so you need to go to office tomorrow?
It's okay. Okay, I'll do class.
We can take a day off. You guys can discuss in between yourself and let me know if you want to take a day off. Okay?
If I get recording, that will be fine for me.
I don't want you to miss any class.